All right, my friends, you should have out your surface area video notes on triangular prisms. We went over the rectangular prisms in previous notes, and so we want to demonstrate the difference between a triangular prism and a rectangular prism and how we would find the surface area for the triangular prism. So you have these notes. Here's a three-dimensional demonstration of what a triangular prism would look like. But we're going to be working with them where they're unfolded in a net. We learned previously that the net is the two-dimensional picture of a three-dimensional object. It's unfolded and flat like this. So for a triangular prism, the shape of the two bases, and this is so important for us to hang on to. We got to know this, super important. In a triangular prism, the shape of the two bases are triangles, and you're going to want to make sure you remember that. Triangles. The shape of the two bases are the triangles. Matter of fact, if you have a highlighter or a marker or something, circle that, highlight that. This is super important. And the bases in the triangular prism are parallel to each other. They're parallel. So in a triangular prism, the shape of the two bases, the bases are the triangles. Now for lateral surface area, now you remember total surface area means that we would add all the surfaces together. For lateral surface area, we do not include the bases. That's why this part is super important, because they're going to ask you about lateral surface area, and we need to make sure we remember that the bases are these. So in this particular net, the bases are these triangles. These are the bases. And again, I would kind of try to highlight that, make sure you see that the bases are the triangles. So remember that the triangles are the bases. The triangles are the bases. So let's use our shape and give it some dimensions. So let's call this guy over here, this would be 5 centimeters from top to bottom of this piece right here. And we're going to say that since this is 5 in this rectangle, then it's going to be 5 all along the rectangles. It's 5 from this distance to here, which means it's going to be 5 all across the figure. So you can even, if you know that it's 5 here, you could even write that it's 5 over here as well. Well, this is 5 centimeters, and we're going to mark this distance across the rectangle as 10 centimeters. And of course, these rectangles are going to be congruent, which means that if this is 10 centimeters across here, then this will also be 10, and so will this. Now, since the bases are triangles, we need to make sure we understand, we need to know the height of the triangle. And so we're going to call the height of this particular triangle, we're going to make that 6 centimeters. And that's all the information we need to have to find the area, the surface area of this triangular prism. So what kind of shapes do we have? Well, we have two different kinds. What are they? Well, they're the rectangles. And so we're going to find the area of the rectangles. And when we find the area of the rectangle, let's write that number inside the shape. And so we have the rectangle, and it looks like this. And we have, this is 5 and this is 10. And so you multiply those two together, and everybody said it should be, that's right, it's 50. So the area for the rectangle is base times height. And so we know that the area then is, well, the base being 10 and the height being 5. And we multiply 10 times 5, and you know the area is 50 centimeters squared. And we want to go ahead and put our 50 inside each of these, because that just means we know that we're finished with the areas of those three shapes. It's not 50 for all three, it's 50 for each of them, so we're going to add those together at the end. Well, now we also have triangles. And so we know we have this triangle, and we decided that the base of this triangle, from here to here, we know that this is going to be 10 because it's 10 from here to here in this rectangle. And this rectangle and this triangle share the same bases, and so we know that this is also 10. So we have 10 here, and we need the height of the triangle, which we said was 6. Now, this is where a lot of students forget that the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. It's got to be 1/2. And this is the part where if you're going to make a mistake, it probably is going to happen here. So you want to make sure you recognize that this is super important to remember. 1/2 of the base times the height. So in our area, in our particular triangle, we have 1/2. Let's rewrite that. Make sure you have that there. And then the base is, we said 10. And the height of our triangle is 6. Now rewrite your formula. Don't forget to make sure you continue to write that 1/2 as you're solving. Okay, continue to write that 1/2 as you solve. And so 10 times 6 is 60. So now we know that the area of each of the triangles is 30 centimeters squared. And what I'd like you to do is make sure that you go back into each of these shapes and write the 30 and circle it. Now you know that you're finished with the area of the two triangles. Remember, triangles, area is 1/2 the base times the height. Now, we're going to do total surface area. So if we do total surface area, that means we're going to add all of the surfaces. Well, if we add these three here, 50 plus 50 plus 50, that's 150, plus 30 plus 30 is 60. So we have a total of 210 square centimeters, or centimeters squared. Now this is the part, if we're asked a question, the lateral surface area means that there are no bases. No bases. So we do not want to include the bases. That's why it's important to remember that the bases are the triangles. So if there are no bases involved, what are we going to use? Well, in this case, we're going to add the 3 rectangles together. And we already know what that is because we've already done that right here. But we could say 50 of the first one plus 50 of the second one plus the other 50, and that equals a total of, for the lateral surface area, the total is 150 centimeters squared. One last time, super important for you to remember. First of all, that the triangles are the bases in this figure, not the rectangles. No matter what the picture looks like, no matter what is laying flat on the surface, the triangles, even in this case, we'd say the triangles here are the bases. The triangles are the bases. And so with lateral surface area, we do not include the triangles for lateral surface area. So we add our 3 rectangles, and we have 150 centimeters squared. And that's it. That's all there is to it. If you know how to find the area of rectangles and remember 1/2 for the triangles, you'll be in good shape. So go ahead and fold this up, glue this into your math notebook, and then on the outside you might even want to write surface area of triangular prisms. All right, nice job. Have a good evening, or whatever time of day it is, and we'll talk to you again soon.